Hey YouTube, I'm gonna attempt to make a wood gas camp stove out of these two cans. One of them is a 40-ounce red kidney bean can, and the other one is a 18.6-ounce Campbell's Chunky Chicken Noodle Soup can. Now most of the ones I've seen online, they show that they usually take the lid from one, they cut a hole into it so that way the other can can fit snugly in through that lid. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just use it as the bottom, cut a hole in the bottom to fit this can, put this down through. Okay, so what I'm doing now is to start off making the hole here to fit the Campbell soup can in. I'm going to drill one hole towards the inside of it, so that'll give me a place to start with some tin snips to be able to cut the circle out. Okay, so now that I've got the circle, or the center cut out for the soup can to fit in the inside, there's a lot of sharp burrs going around the edge, so I'm going to use this file to take all the sharp burrs off of that. Okay, I've got all the burrs off of the this can here on that lip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes, some large vent holes near the bottom of this, going all along the side. And then I'm going to drill some holes in the very bottom of this and on the sides, and I'll get back to you and show you what that looks like. Okay, well I'm all done doing the holes. Doesn't look pretty. This isn't meant to be a work of art. If you want to spend a half an hour doing a job where it makes it look nicer, you can do that. This was just something I wanted to do quickly. Now, the only other thing I need to do now is, as you can see, I've got some holes on the bottom of this one. The only thing I need to do now is fit this down inside here, and I'm going to make a pot stand to fit on top here. I'm just going to use some hardware cloth, and when I get that done, I'll get back to you and show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's what I'm left with. I've got the soup can inside the bean can. Okay, and it does have a good seal going around here, but if I feel that there's some gases that are leaking out, I could add some JB Weld around here if I wanted to, but it seems like it's pretty good. And I've got the pot stand right here, just hardware cloth. Fits on top pretty good, and I cut a hole so that I can add more fuel into there if I want to. So now all that's left to do is for me to try this out, and that's what I'll get to and show you how it works out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is get it started. I've got some rolled up birch bark inside of it. I'm going to light it and start adding some small sticks of hardwood until it gets going. Then I'm going to put 2 cups of water on to boil and see how long it takes to get it to boil. It might smoke at first, but once it gets going, there should be hardly any smoke. Okay, so now you can see that I've got it going. It initially smoked quite a bit. I think a lot of it had to do with the birch bark that I used to start it. But after about a minute, it stopped smoking. As you can see now, there's basically no smoke coming out. The jets on the inside are working. I'll zoom in and see if you can see that. You can see the flame jets coming out the side from those holes. That's showing that there is a burn of the wood gases that are being created from the heat in the inside. So now I'm going to put the pot stand on there, and I'm going to put the 2 cups of water on there and see how long it takes to get them to boil. Okay, it's been a little bit more than 15 minutes and the water is boiling. There is a little bit of soot that was produced, but that's when it's when you put a little too many sticks in there where they get to above the jet holes, that's when it starts to smoke a little bit. So ideally you want to keep your fuel level below those jet holes on the inside and you'll have a nice clean burn. Overall, I think this stove is a simple, easy design, and it's something I recommend people use if they want to be using a wood stove that doesn't use a lot of fuel.